I'm Alex, and I've always been drawn to the peculiar and mysterious. But nothing could have prepared me for the haunting experience I had with a cursed portrait that changed my life forever. It all began when I stumbled upon an old, decrepit estate sale while exploring the outskirts of town. The house was a dilapidated mansion, its windows cracked and its walls covered in vines. The air was thick with the musty scent of decades of neglect. Inside, the rooms were filled with remnants of a bygone era, antique furniture, dusty books, and faded tapestries. But what caught my eye was a portrait hanging in the corner of the dimly lit living room. It depicted a woman, her face beautiful but marred by an inexplicable sadness in her eyes. I was drawn to it, captivated by the intensity of her gaze. I inquired about the portrait and learned that it was part of the estate sale. The owner had passed away under mysterious circumstances, and his belongings were now up for grabs. Intrigued, I decided to purchase the portrait, believing it would make a unique addition to my collection of oddities. As I drove home with the portrait in tow, an eerie feeling washed over me. The woman's eyes seemed to follow me, and her melancholic expression bore into my soul. I chalked it up to my overactive imagination and placed the portrait in my living room. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept tossing and turning, unable to shake the feeling that I was being watched. I blamed it on the portrait's unsettling presence and decided to move it into the attic. Days turned into weeks, and I gradually forgot about the portrait. But then, strange things started happening in my home. Objects would go missing, only to reappear in bizarre places. I heard whispers in the dead of night, faint, indistinguishable murmurs that seemed to come from the walls themselves. One evening, as I was reading in the living room, I noticed the portrait had returned, hanging on the wall as if it had never left. My heart raced as I realized the woman in the painting was no longer looking sad, she was looking angry. Determined to rid myself of the eerie presence, I contacted a paranormal expert, Dr. Evelyn Turner. She arrived at my home with an assortment of equipment and a stern expression. She studied the portrait intently before turning to me. "This painting is cursed," she declared. "It's a vessel for a malevolent spirit. We must destroy it to break the curse." I agreed, and we made preparations to burn the portrait. But as the flames engulfed the canvas, a blood-curdling scream echoed through my home, and the flames turned an ominous shade of green. Dr. Turner grabbed my arm, her face pale with fear. "We've angered the spirit," she whispered. From that moment on, things went from bad to worse. My home became a chamber of horrors. Shadows moved of their own accord, and eerie apparitions appeared in the corners of my vision. I could hear the woman in the portrait whispering my name, her voice a spectral, anguished plea. Desperate, I contacted Dr. Turner again, but she was hesitant to return. She warned me that the curse had grown stronger, and the spirit was now malevolent and vengeful. I had to find a way to appease it or face the consequences. I delved into research, trying to uncover the history behind the cursed portrait. It led me to a chilling revelation. The woman in the painting was Isabella Carmichael, accused of witchcraft and executed in the 17th century. Legend had it that her spirit sought revenge on those who possessed her portrait. I realized the only way to break the curse was to return the portrait to its original resting place, the Carmichael estate, where Isabella had once lived. Armed with this knowledge, I embarked on a treacherous journey to the decaying mansion. As I hung the portrait in the exact spot where I had first discovered it, a mournful sigh seemed to fill the air. The room grew colder, and the woman's eyes softened, no longer filled with anger. I knew then that Isabella's spirit had finally found peace. The curse was broken. I left the estate, my heart heavy with the weight of what I had experienced. I would never forget the haunting gaze of the woman in the portrait, nor the malevolence of the curse that had bound her. The incident left me with a deep respect for the supernatural and a profound understanding of the power that cursed objects could wield. I vowed never to underestimate the mysteries of the unknown, for some secrets are better left undisturbed.